when did you actually, when was the first time you actually heard of Bitcoin? And at what point did it really click that this is something entirely different?
Yeah, so I first heard of it in 2016, 2017. Probably. Yeah, 2016, 2017 was really when I first heard of it. I might have heard it before that, but I don't recall. 2016, 2017, that's when I was getting into finance, learning about stocks, money, saving, retirement, 401k, all that. That's when I started learning. I didn't really start paying attention until 2019, and I didn't buy until 2021, and it didn't finally click until 2022. So it's funny because I get told all the time that, oh my goodness, it's so hard. I feel like it's taking forever for me to learn. And it's like, well, it took me 5 years, more or less, to really get it. And for, for most people, it takes about 3 to 7 years is what I'm finding. And so that's why I'm so passionate about talking about it, is because this is extremely important. It's extremely time sensitive, and it's an extreme risk to everyone that doesn't have an allocation. And the problem is, if adoption or mass adoption is roughly 10 to 18 years away or so, and it takes the average person, like the average smart person, I'm not saying I'm excessively smart, but if it takes the average smart person like you or me half a decade to learn, it's like, it is very concerning, at least to me, for lots of other folks. But anyway, 2017 was I first heard. 2022 is really when it clicked.
I would say that 5-year mark is spot on. It's actually a specific time frame that we use all the time, even in the trading space. Like, don't think that you had any chance of really getting this in a serious way unless you've actually dedicated at least 5 years to the craft. You can't really accomplish anything in life in a very serious way in less than 5 years anyway. So that certainly seems spot on. So you said you purchased first in 2021. Did you purchase with the idea of this being a regular investment at that time, since it clicked in 2022 for you? Was it just a regular investment for you, a trade for you, or did you know at that particular time that this is something that is a little bit different from any other investment item that I've encountered?
Yeah, no, basically what really turned me on to it was seeing what it was doing in the third world, especially in Nigeria, Middle East, Russia, other places like that, where it had been attempted to be banned and it failed. That was one of the things that really caught my eye about it in late 2020, early 2021. 2019, by 2019, like I said, I was starting to pay attention. I was watching documentaries. I still didn't really get it. In hindsight, it's like, I don't know how I didn't, but but yeah, so at first I thought, like, okay, this is an important industry, and I just gotta find the biggest winners in this industry. And I could see there was a lot I still didn't understand, and at the heart of it all, at the very essence of it all, the part that I was struggling to wrap my head around was proof of work versus proof of stake. I could understand how they both worked, surface level. I'm not extremely technical, so I had to learn how they technically work, and I had to learn the incentive structures and just figure out long-term stability, security, all that. Again, in hindsight, it's obvious. I don't know how it took me so long, but for most of 2021, I was trying to really dive in and figuring it out, because I knew something didn't sit right in me. There were some people that were like, proof of stake is the way, it's the only way, and then all the other people, like I am now, that were like, proof of work is the way, it's the only way, and then other people in the middle where it's like, kind of both, and so I figured probably the both argument was probably right, but I didn't know. I wasn't sure, and that really bothered me. So I kept learning and learning and learning and learning, and eventually it dawned on me how obvious proof of work is in hindsight. And that's a big part of what I talk about now, about how, well, that was my first thread that went really viral online, is to talk about how our brains change as a function of technology. And now it's amazing. It's like, now I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is so obvious. It's like painful. How did I not? It's like, what was I a complete idiot? Like, I don't think I was a complete idiot. It's like, oh my goodness, how did it take me so long? How was I so intellectually inconsistent to ever think that proof of stake had a chance? And, it's extremely frustrating. And that's why I talk about it, because people don't understand how technology changes our brains. And, we're at the point where probably the next 5, 10, 15 years, most of us will have our entire worldview of money completely shift because of proof of work because of Bitcoin. So
That's right. Well,
so yeah, that's where I started.
I have this philosophy, Luke, where I feel as though almost that you have to, that that's almost a necessary part of the
Yeah,
journey, where you have to sort of explore
yeah,
what Bitcoin is not to really realize what Bitcoin is. It's almost as if you come to the realization of how special and how important Bitcoin is through negation. So you
yeah,
discover what Bitcoin is not to arrive at what Bitcoin is, and it's like boom, wow,
yeah.
because we went down the altcoin route initially as well, but fortunately it was very short,
Good.
and and it was a very, I mean, from a monetary point of view, we handled the altcoin period
Yeah,
very well. Most people were extraordinarily profitable playing around with them, but we basically cut that out at the
yeah.
perfect time. And
Well,
obviously that sort of happens with our deepening in our understanding that, wait, Bitcoin is the only real thing. It is the only real thing, so we should not be
mhm.
focused on anything else except
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
yeah. And you know, it's like I've been saying to people now, it's not that, you know, there are a lot of people that say all altcoins are a scam, and perhaps that's true. Um, but you know, it's like the to me the even more convincing argument than that is just talking about how the best case scenario they're a temporary um, they're temporary technology. You know, the best case,
Right.
the best use case, the best utility argument for altcoins is that they provide some unique marketable ability for the next, you know, couple years, decade or two, whatever it is, and then eventually that use case eventually just gets adopted onto
Gets
layers
adopted
above
on
Bitcoin. So it's like,
Bitcoin, absolutely.
sure, you know, you might be able to make money on altcoins, but it's going to get increasingly difficult as that space grows, and the long-term viability of them is debatable now at best. And you know, even if it prospers in the future, the competition is only going to get greater, and the end state is Bitcoin anyway. So why not just you know, why not just reallocate money over to Bitcoin anyway now?
Right.
You know, it's
That's right.
100 times safer for probably more upside. So anyway,